everyone. Tonight I'm going to be cooking beef Beurganuo. It's a really good dish, kind of a little lengthy, but it's really good. It's really good for like an anniversary or a date night. If you're having colleagues over, family over, parents, it's a really good dish for them. What you see here is I have about 2 pounds of beef cut up into 1-inch cubes. You can use a roast or a steak, whichever kind of meat you prefer. We have butter, 2 yellow onions, and 2 cloves of elephant garlic, the tomato paste, and then in the bowls we have flour, all-purpose flour, sea salt, and Greek seasoning with a little bit of black pepper. We have cognac, and then we also have some red wine. We have chicken broth, olive oil, Italian seasoning, and of course the measuring cup. And then over here I went ahead and started browning my bacon and rendering off the fat. Use about 8 ounces of bacon. Usually about 6 slices is good enough. And so then so now we got the bacon going. The first step we're going to do is we're actually going to take our beef, and we're going to coat it generously in some salt and pepper before it goes in the pan. You want to coat each side, or you can coat one side and then coat them as they go, or as you flip them in the pan. Almost. Alright, so we got them coated good for right now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to check on the bacon. Alright, bacon looks pretty good. Fat's nice and rendered. It's getting nice and crispy just the way we want it. So just take this out, put it on a paper plate, with some towels. Kind of helps drain off the excess grease because we don't need them to be too greasy. And then also I have my oven right now preheating at 250. Because once you get the meat done, and the vegetables sauteed, you're gonna put it in the oven for about hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on your oven. Some ovens' time varies. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we got the heat about medium-high, and you're going to do is take these batches at a time. You don't want to do too much because then they're going to not cook right. So put them in there just a few pieces at a time, so that way they can, not like that. Didn't mean that to fall in there. You want to just do batches at a time so that way they can brown properly. You don't want them to, too many, they won't brown right. So I'm going to say, probably just 2 more. And you're only going to put them in there for about, we can just do 1 more. Alright, you want to leave them on each side for about 2 minutes or so for each side. And then you want to make sure each side gets nice and seared. And then once those are done, I'll actually go ahead and start chopping the onions. Move these. So go ahead and flip them. Okay. So we got those flipped. What I'll do is we're gonna go ahead and get the onions chopped up. Alright, then we'll cut them in half. And then a good way, because the main reason why people cry is because they cut off the root of the garlic. That's where it makes you cry. So what we're going to do, show you a neat little trick. Take the root, face that way. Take your knife and just go in, leaving about a ½ inch, or maybe a little less from the root. And then that you got them cut long ways, and take it and cut them this way. And it gives it a nice dice without the effects of the onion. And we're going to go ahead and move these off of here onto a plate. And we'll take the second half and do the same thing. Just run it down the sides. And then just and then we'll check our beef, and we'll do the other onion. And flip the beef against the other side. Alright, 1 second, guys. So by now, this batch of beef should be done. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this one up. And then again, you can just stick it on the same plate with the bacon. And then we'll go ahead and get another batch going. And then we're just going to go ahead and stick, since there's not that many left in this batch, on the pan, let's go ahead and stick them all. Make sure they're nice and evenly spaced out. So that way they can actually sear pretty good. Alright, one more. Alright, so we got the rest of the beef in there. Now what we'll do is we're going to finish chopping the other onion, and then we'll chop the garlic in, because those are going to go in the pan after the beef goes in there. The onions and garlic are going to go in. So again, we chop this one. Alright, and then just cut it down the middle. And again, we're just gonna make the squares along the side, leaving the root attached. I'm gonna turn it. And don't worry if there's some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces, that's fine. They're all going to cook down. Alright, we'll go this side. And you can also do all of this the night before with cutting up the onions and garlic and the meat. Or if you want, you can also, sometimes you can get your local meat department or meat store to actually cut the meat for you. You need it about about a 1 inch thick cube. And normally they can do it. Sometimes they're nice enough to do it. And so we get these turned. Turn the heat up just a little bit more. And it's smelling really good. And also, I think I might have forgot to mention it. When you do this, you need either a pan, like a stock pot that's oven proof, or a Dutch oven. And I'm actually going to be using my 8-quart Emerald Lagasse stock pot, which is oven proof up to 350, which is perfect because the temperature of the oven only goes up to 250 for this recipe and stuff. So, alright, so now that we got the garlic or the onions done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop the garlic.